In today's show, Bitcoin gains 5% to reclaim 20K and eyes its first green September since 2016. And quoting material indicators, Bitcoin now in position for a green monthly close if it can hold through Friday, taking profits along the way. And quoting Crypto Rover, next bull run, Bitcoin will hit $200,000 plus. In quoting sentiment, many traders were apparently awaiting the $20,000 threshold to begin selling their bags. As Bitcoin crossed back above this psychological level, mass profit taking ensued. Now we find out whether those anxious to sell will regret their decisions. Now check this out. The first ever prediction that Bitcoin will go to the moon made exactly 11 years ago on September 27th, 2010. Either Bitcoins are going to catch on and their value is going to skyrocket to the moon, or they will wither on the vine. And breaking news just in, South Korean authorities have reportedly requested crypto exchanges OKX and KuCoin to freeze around $67 million in Bitcoin tied to the Terra co-founder, Kwon, who is allegedly on the run from Interpol and recently tweeted, "Yeah, as I said, I am making zero effort to hide. I go on walks and malls. No way none of crypto Twitter hasn't run into me in the past couple of weeks." Also in today's show, Russia aims to use Cbdc for international settlement with China. That's right. According to this latest report, Russia is in the pilot phase of its central bank digital currency, and new reports indicate that the country could use its national digital currency to settle international trade. Also in today's show, Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says the biggest crash in decades is coming and details the impact on Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Quoting him here, "Everything bubble into everything crash. I warned in my books, the biggest crash has been building since the 1990s. Rather than fix the problems, the Fed printed fake dollars, and everything crashes, even gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Your ultimate asset in giant crash, your financial wisdom." He also goes on to share, "I am very optimistic and bullish on the blockchain, so if Bitcoin goes down to $1,000, I am backing up the truck, but if it goes to $25,000, I am not buying anymore." Also in today's show, here's a conservative Bitcoin price target for the year 2030, according to InvestAnswers. Quoting him here, "Not hopium, just math, and we do expect it to slow down, but the key takeaway here is if Metcalfe's law holds, the conservative model has Bitcoin reaching $3.4 million by the year 2030. That may seem completely impossible, completely ridiculous, outlandish compared to where we are right now, but anyway, let's go more into what's happening. Again, this is about adoption. It's an arms race. It's game theory. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this, plus so much more in today's show. Here at Crypto News Alerts, I drop a brand new episode every single day. If you like receiving daily, premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon to turn on all notifications. Will Smith that like button and drop a comment below, as it helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And today's episode is brought to you by my Crypto News Alerts podcast over on Apple's iTunes. If you're not already tuned in on Apple's iTunes or Spotify, click the link in the description right down below. Now, obviously, you're listening and watching right now on YouTube, which is good as this is a premium show with video. However, if you ever want to listen on Apple's iTunes or Spotify, be sure to check us out. All right, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV, and welcome to podcast episode number 1058 of the Crypto News Alerts pod. The Bitcoin delivered long anticipated volatility on September 27th as a squeeze higher resulted in a push beyond $20,000. As you can see here in the Bitcoin 1 hour candle chart. Now, data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed Bitcoin adding over 7% after the September 26th close. And at the time of this recording, we're currently trading above $20,200. Now, the move naturally did not go unnoticed by trading circles, but opinions differed over the outcome amid warnings that the whole episode may end up trapping over-optimistic traders taking late long positions. Quoting Crypto Capo, "No rejection yet, but soon, expecting higher for now, sticking by a theory which demanded a new lower low and then sub $19,000 levels seen over the past week." And research firm Sentiment, meanwhile, noticed mass profit taking beginning as Bitcoin recrossed the $20,000 boundary for the first time in over a week. As they share here, many traders were apparently awaiting the $20,000 threshold to begin selling their bags. As Bitcoin crossed back above the psychological level, mass profit taking ensued. Now we find out whether those anxious to sell will regret their decisions. Bitcoin briefly jumps above 20,000 again for the first time in 8 days, and massive profit-taking orders get filled. As pointed out here, 3.5 times as many Bitcoin transactions have happened today, while an address was in profit versus at a loss. Now for the million-dollar question, can the bulls beat the September? And a sign of how even the modest price moves can impact market sentiment. Meanwhile, the return to 20,000 set up Bitcoin to finish September higher than at the start, and as noted by on-chain analytics resource, material indicators all now rested on the bulls' ability to defend the Bitcoin price action into the monthly close. As they share here, Bitcoin now in position for a green monthly close if it can hold through Friday, taking profits along the way. Now check it out. While modest, Bitcoin September gains have totaled 0.7% at the time of this recording, with Bitcoin trading at 20,200. So if the month ends up green, it would be the first non-loss making September since 2016, according to data from CoinGlass, which you can see here. And just a day previously, Bitcoin was looking at a monthly loss of 6% or more. Regarding September's close, let me know if you feel we'll likely have a green or red candle close for the month. And quoting Crypto Rover, next bull run, Bitcoin will hit $200,000 plus. Send it. And as Rizzo shares here, the first ever prediction, Bitcoin will go to the moon, made exactly 11 years ago on September 27th, 2010. Either Bitcoins are going to catch on and their value is going to skyrocket to the moon, or they will wither on the vine. Now, Kwon is apparently on the run once again, this time from Interpol, and South Korean authorities have reportedly requested crypto exchange OKX and KuCoin to freeze around $67 million in Bitcoin tied to the Terra co-founder, Kwon. But before I break this down, first let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market, which you can see it's currently pumping and in the green. Bitcoin still up over 5% for the day, trading at around $20,200, with Ethereum down almost 5%, trading just under $1,400, while Binance Coin, XRP, Cardano, Solana, Polkadot, and Avalanche all breaking out and in the green. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. Terra co-founder Kwon, wanted by South Korean authorities and whose whereabouts are currently unknown, has suggested he is not changing his routine in response to the potential legal action. In a Monday tweet, Kwon said members of crypto Twitter had likely seen him walking on the street or around in shopping malls without mentioning the city or country. And in the past couple of weeks, despite Interpol reportedly issuing a red notice for the Terra co-founder, Kwon told his more than 1 million Twitter followers in a reply that he had not seen his name on Interpol's list of individuals to locate and provisionally arrest. Quoting him here, "I'm writing code in my living room. I am making zero effort to hide. As I said, I'm making zero effort to hide. I go on walks and malls. No way, none of crypto Twitter hasn't run into me in the past couple of weeks." Now active on social media while facing potential arrest and prosecution in South Korea, Kwon showed his location as Singapore on his Twitter account at the time of the publication, but a September 17th report from Reuters suggested he may no longer be in the country. The Terra co-founder is a South Korean national, dual citizenship, and South Korea is generally not permitted, though with certain exceptions, but it's unclear if Kwon holds more than one country's passport. Where do you feel he is hiding? Let me know in the comments below. And here's where things get interesting. Authorities in South Korea have requested crypto exchanges OKX and KuCoin to freeze some 3,313 Bitcoin, worth around $67 million, tied to Terraform Labs co-founder Kwon. Now, the Bitcoin was transferred to digital wallets of the exchanges shortly after an arrest warrant was issued for Kwon in South Korea on September 14th, according to the report. And authorities accused the crypto entrepreneur of violating the country's security laws and issued the warrant just months after the collapse of the $40 billion Terra ecosystem, which triggered a market downturn and the collapse of other major players in the industry. And while Kwon has maintained he is not on the run, South Korean authorities have asked Interpol for assistance in locating him. In fact, on Monday, Interpol put out a red notice, which is a request to law enforcement around the world to locate and provisionally arrest Kwon pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. Blockchain data analytics platform CryptoQuant says a digital wallet for the Luna Foundation Guard was suddenly created on crypto exchange Binance on September 15th, and in the 3 days that followed, the 3,313 Bitcoin were transferred to KuCoin and OKX. And in the months before the Terra collapse, the Luna Foundation Guard bought around $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin to beef up their reserves for its stablecoin UST, while KuCoin has frozen some of the 1,354 Bitcoin, which is valued at $27 million, transferred to the platform. OKX is allegedly ignoring the prosecution's request to freeze assets, according to the article. So there you have it. Do you feel that Kwon will get away with this, or do you feel the authorities will catch up with him? Let me know in the comments below. And before I break down next story of the day, Russia aims to use Cbdc for international settlements with China, according to this latest report. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market cap, sitting at $974 billion with $80 billion in volume volume. In the past 24 hours, the current Bitcoin dominance is at 39.9%, with the Ether dominance at 17.5%. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Uniswap leading the pack, up 15%, trading at $6.56, followed by Maker, up 11%, trading at $766, followed by Neo, up almost 11%, trading at $9.20. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the past week, you can see the altcoins finally back in the green and pumping. We have Ethereum Wrapped up 56.7%. We have Kwon up 23.7%, and Maker up 23%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we are currently rated a 20 out of 100 in extreme fear, which we have been stuck in for quite some time. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That could be a great buying opportunity, aka BTFD, buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. Russia is in the pilot phase of its Cbdc, and new reports indicate that the country could use its national digital currency to settle international trade. According to a report published in Reuters, Russia is reportedly planning to use the digital ruble for mutual settlements with China by next year. The digital ruble is currently being tested for settlement with the banks and is expected to be completed by early next year. Now, the United States Treasury Department added 22 individuals and 2 Russia-based entities to the sanction list in the third week of September. Interesting, right? With the growing sanctions against Russia from the West in the wake of the ongoing conflict with the Ukraine, the country has been actively looking for alternate financial routes and trade settlements. Now, the head of the Financial Committee in Russia's lower house of parliament recently admitted that the geopolitical crisis has limited Russia's accessibility to the international trade market. This is why they have been actively working for alternate modes of payment and trade settlements, and national digital currency seems to be the primary choice at the moment. Quoting him here, the topic of digital financial assets, the digital ruble, and cryptocurrencies are currently intensifying in society as Western countries are imposing sanctions and creating problems for bank transfers, including in international settlements. Now, Russia has joined the global list of countries that are in the final phase of their Cbdc development. According to the Bank of Russia's latest monetary policy update, the authority will begin to connect all banks and credit institutions to the digital ruble platform in 2024, right in time for the Bitcoin halving. Let's freaking go. We already know CBDCs are the destruction of mankind, while Bitcoin is sovereignty and freedom. Just point out the obvious. The reports of the use of the digital ruble for mutual trade settlements in the international trade market come within a week of reports that hinted at possible crypto use for cross-border payments. That's right, as I recently covered here on the show, Russia adopted a crypto law in 2020 prohibiting the use of cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. However, the law didn't ban other crypto-focused activities such as mining and crypto trading. And with the rise of sanctions and growing uncertainty in the international trade market, Russia has turned to its national digital currency as a medium of exchange to weaken the United States' dominance in the international trade market. So there you have it. And before I break down next story of the day, Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki says the biggest crash in decades is coming and details the impact on Bitcoin, gold, and silver, as well as here is a conservative Bitcoin price target for the year 2030, according to InvestAnswers. But first, I want to remind you to smash that show more button right below this video in the description for detailed analysis of what's going on in the crypto market. This goes for all 1,300 plus videos right here on my YouTube channel. And if you're not already subscribed, fam, you know what to do. Hit that bell icon, turn on all notifications, Will Smith that like button, and drop a comment right down below. You can also follow me on all the major podcasts and platforms, from Spotify, home of the Joe Rogan Experience, to Apple's iTunes. The links are right down below in the description. You can also follow me all across crypto Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, Instagram, and TikTok. So wherever you're at, be sure to plug in and follow me there. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki is warning of a major financial crash that he thinks will have implications on Bitcoin and precious metals. The best-selling author tells his 2.1 million Twitter followers that the largest financial cataclysm since the 1990s is brewing due to irresponsible U.S. federal monetary policies. Quoting him right here on crypto Twitter, everything bubble into everything crash. I warned in my books, the biggest crash has been building since the 1990s. Rather than fix problems, Fed printed fake dollars and everything crashes, even gold, silver, and Bitcoin, your ultimate asset in a giant crash, your financial wisdom. Preach. Now, Kiyosaki details what he sees as a vicious cycle of monetary policy in the U.S., which starts with an unreasonable amount of borrowing and ends with the U.S. dollar devaluing. And according to the Bitcoin bull, the best defense against an economic environment is Bitcoin, gold, and silver. As he shares here, number 1, U.S. borrows too much money. Number 2, U.S. keeps interest rates low. Number 3, low interest rates forces the U.S. to borrow more dollars to buy more U.S. bonds. Number 4, to keep interest rates low. Number 5, causes inflation. Number 5, forcing interest rates up. Number 6, debt becomes too expensive. Number 7, U.S. dollar dying. Buy gold, silver, Bitcoin. And he also recently tweeted, F the Fed. The Fed causes inflation, which makes life painful for the poor and middle class. Don't people know the Fed and all the central banks are Marxists? Why do people say, follow the Fed? I am not a communist. Instead of, the Fed's got your back, I say, F the Fed. Much respect to Kiyosaki. And in a recent interview, Kiyosaki says he's waiting for a big Bitcoin crash to purchase more Bitcoin, noting he was bullish overall on the flagship digital asset. As he shares here, I am very optimistic and bullish on blockchain. So if Bitcoin goes down to $1,000, I am backing up the truck. But if it goes to $25,000, I am not buying any more. I remember when gold in the year 2000 was $300 an ounce. You can wait for it to go to $3,000 or $30,000 an ounce before you buy. That's what stupid people do. They buy at the top of the market. They all jump in like idiots. I'm waiting for the next crash. Same with real estate. Real estate is crashing right now, and I get very excited about it. Everything's going on sale. I don't want to pay retail. I want to pay wholesale. It's common capitalism. So there you have it. What are your thoughts surrounding Robert Kiyosaki and his predictions of Bitcoin going all the way down to $1,000 so we can back up the truck and buy more? Holla at your boy in the comments below. And now let's break down our final story of the day. A popular crypto analyst thinks Bitcoin could be worth millions of dollars within 8 years under the assumption that people will continue to flock to the leading digital asset. That's right. In a new YouTube video, the anonymous host of InvestAnswers tells us 444,000 YouTube subs that Bitcoin's diminishing returns have historically offered 5 times less return as each cycle passes. But the analyst also references Metcalfe's law, which states that a network grows in value as the number of users gets bigger. And assuming Bitcoin follows in the line of internet and cell phone adoption, the InvestAnswers host says even the conservative model projects Bitcoin price exploding by the year 2030. That's right. As he shares here, not hopium, just math, and we do expect it to slow down. But the key takeaway here is if Metcalfe's law holds, the conservative model has Bitcoin reaching $3.4 million by the year 2030. That may seem completely impossible, completely ridiculous, outlandish compared to where we are right now. But anyway, let's go more into what's happening. Again, this is about adoption. It's an arms race. It's game theory, whatever you want to talk about it. Now, a move to InvestAnswers target suggests an upside potential of over 17,000% for Bitcoin in less than a decade. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. And to watch this video he did, check the show notes below the video in the description. So there you have it. What are your thoughts surrounding the Bitcoin price reaching $3.4 million per coin by the year 2030? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Now for a quick recap, what I covered with you here in today's show. Bitcoin gains 5% to reclaim 20K and eyes the first green September since 2016. We also discussed Kwon on the run as authorities freeze $67 million worth of his Bitcoin. And we also discussed Russia aiming to use CbdCs for international settlement with China, according to this latest report. We also discussed the Rich Dad author says the biggest crash in decades is coming and details the impact on Bitcoin, gold, and silver. And we also discussed InvestAnswers' $3.4 million Bitcoin price prediction by the year 2030. Where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below. Now for the top 3 comments from yesterday's episode. Steve Hubbs wrote, anyone can predict $1 million for Bitcoin eventually, but you need to give by what year Bitcoin will reach that level. In 2018, Vase predicted under 1,000 for Bitcoin. I would say the odds are good that 17,567 will hold. Shorts prove me wrong. I'm still buying if you drive it down to 14,000 or whatever. You make a great point, Steve. Thanks for sharing. Our next featured comment comes from KitKat. Been hearing 12 to 14,000 Bitcoin price for a few months. I don't expect it to drop lower than 18,000, which was the top price area of 2017. Thanks for tuning in and sharing. And our third and final featured comment comes from Pezza. LNP won $50. I like this very much. She can buy me a drink with some of that at the $100,000 Bitcoin party. You know, when it's worth $250. Mind you, I am pretty sure we'd be smart enough to buy a bottle and mix our own drinks. Let's do it up. $100,000 Bitcoin celebration party in Puerto Rico. And to be featured on tomorrow's episode, drop a comment right down below. Make sure to hit that bell, turn on all notifications. Will Smith, that like button. And I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode. Peace.